Get on your feet, Tiger fans. Let's get loud. Let's go. Let's get active. Let's go.
Yeah, a lot of factors have changed kind of college football. And we can go ahead and touch on this really quick. Well, one, I just want to get your opinion, or I want to get your, um, I guess, comments on 2006. I think it was the last home game, and Clemson ended up losing on a field goal. And I know you and Coach Bowden kind of had, there was a little bit of a bad taste in everybody's mouth that they took you out of the game, and ended up losing. And so talk about that, and then also talk about having C.J. Spiller and James Davis, and just kind of splitting those carries, and kind of how that changed the running back locker room.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I've always split time since I've been there. And Ty Hill left the running back room. Then it was only four of us, and then Dwayne Coleman left the room. Then it was only three of
Yeah.
us, and then like I said, it was James Davis, myself, Kyle Browning, and then CJ comes in, man. So we didn't really know what this kid was about. And so Kyle graduated the year before he came in. So it was just three of us, so James, myself, and CJ. We really didn't know what the kid was about. So, and this was crazy too. So that off season before CJ came in, I was probably 210, squatting over 600, benching over 400. And Tommy Bowden called me into the office. He was like, "You need to lose 10 pounds." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Yeah, if you don't lose weight, you're not gonna play here." And I was like, this dude, the audacity. So I had that going through the whole off season. They put me in the fat boy club. They had me running the dikes at Clemson, right? We had like a 3 mile, yeah, we had like a 3 mile trek that we'd go on in the mornings, and then obviously on a meal plan and all that type stuff. And I'm just thinking like, what am I doing here? So I think that was a little bit of a test, right? They wanted to see if I was going to buckle or fold or leave, because, like I said, man, you had James Davis that almost rushed for, I think it was 900 that year. He split time with me, and then obviously you got this talented freshman coming in, who another great story. Tommy Bowden told Dabo Sweeney that he didn't need to waste his time because he wasn't gonna get CJ to come there. And lo and behold, my man's name got put up on the stadium this past weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of storylines, man, on our group, on our team. But so anyways, CJ comes in. We're splitting time. I think through the first two or three games. That North Carolina game, I got banged up. Ended up a high ankle sprain, so I was out for about 6 weeks. So this is how I knew CJ was going to be the dude. It was Georgia Tech game. He caught a swing pass to the right sideline, to their
Oh yeah.
sideline. Dude, he made so two that linebacker and that safety that he made miss. They ended up going to the league,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
he made them look like they were
Terrible. Mm,
sitting in molasses. I
it-
mean, the
almost
two
like that.
moves that he,
Yeah, almost like that Lamar
yeah,
Jackson when he stepped back like that. Yeah, it was.
Because really that game birthed Thunder and Lightning, like for
yeah,
national,
yeah.
it was a nationally
Oh yeah.
televised game.
Yep.
We were like number 16 or number 15, I believe, at the time, around in there. But yeah, CJ, what was it Wimbush, the Georgia Tech linebacker? Was that name?
I'm trying to think, but both of them ended up going to the league, and that safety. That safety was really good too. I
Yeah.
think he was supposed to be like a top 10 in the country for safety or something like that. But dude, he was good. But like from that moment, I was like, all right, this dude
Yeah.
is this
He
dude is for real. This dude is for real. And so he had a couple games like that. I remember they put me at fullback after that too. And then I used to, you know, do blocks off the corner and the two back set and all that good stuff. But they had another play, I think it was at Wake Forest, that they threw a screen to him and I was blocking. And then I think he took that for like 60. And dude, I was like, man, this kid is electric. So I didn't see my carries going away, but I knew I was like, yeah, dude, I'm not gonna see the field too much longer with these cats right here. But like I said, shout out to CJ, man, stand up dude, running back coach now. James Davis, shout out to him too, man. And so CJ did an interview not too long ago, was basically talking about the dynamic in the running back room. So James and I, we got along pretty good. CJ and I hit it off, man. He's a quiet guy. Like I said again, I wasn't one of those dudes that kind of like poked fun at him. But he was quiet, didn't really know what he was about. Obviously, young guy, man, strong in his faith. So he was just different. He was just different. But like I said, man, the running back, he was just saying that the glue in the running back room was Merriweather. And I said, man, I took that to heart, man. That was pretty cool. But when he came on, I used to talk to him just about blocking assignments, man, and knowing the playbook and just stuff that Burton Burns had kind of told me about. And we had dwelled on the summers before. But yeah, it was just an awesome experience, man, to play with those two guys and to see the growth in CJ, right? So man, just a freshman coming into and we had a pretty decent offense, but just coming into that offense, being able to make moves and, seeing his quickness and how he can react. And like I said, again, we had some great talent. Jacoby Ford was a part of that team too. And, obviously we had Aaron Kelly, a few of the guys on the outside. So man, it was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, I'm going on and on now, but that 2006. So just came off the injury 2 games before, and and I was back. I was feeling good. Didn't play. I think we got blew out at Virginia Tech or something like that a couple weeks before, and I had went into Tommy Bowden's office, and I was like, man, we are too good not to run the football, and we basically had a 5-minute conversation before our team meeting. And I just felt some type of way about it. Anyway, fast forward to the South Carolina game, right? 2006. We ended up, I don't know how we got down in that game, but obviously ended up down fourth quarter. I think we're down by 3. And Burton Burns comes over to me and he was like, man, they're gonna put you in to start this drive. So I'm like, all right. Obviously, this is my time to shine. I was ready to go. So they put me in. I first carry, I think, goes for like 6 or 7 yards. And then I started getting the crowd like pumped up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start chanting my name. And the next thing you know, they take me out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, what is going on, man? So, anyways, we ended up losing that game, obviously. But I don't know what persisted, but I ended up I was in Chicago visiting the Bears, and I got off the plane in Chicago O'Hare, and I got a call from Coach Bowden, and we talked for about 10 minutes as I was walking get my bags and all that good stuff, and he didn't say he was sorry. He just told me that he thought it would be a good time for me to get in the game, to get the crowd back in it so we can go win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, coach, that really means a lot to me. But I wish I could have been able to finish, senior season going against in-state rivals,
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina guy, really would have meant the world to me to be able to finish. And I told him it's like, taking the prize, your fighting dog that you had all these years, going into a match and you take them out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it was surreal at the moment, and I ain't gonna lie, I shed some tears, man. I was visibly upset. I didn't even shower after the game. I just grabbed my stuff and I walked out because the post game speech, it was terrible post game speech. He basically said this. He said, tough loss, guys. We came into this game. It would have been my whatever win. It's tough to lose against the in-state rivals. He was like, but we can't win them all. I just like this. this
This
man.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
this
the ball.
man.
Come
And
on,
so
man.
I just, like I said again, man, I took off my stuff, still had my tape on. I just walked out. And like I said, man, senior day, it was just awful, man. So I was like I said, visibly upset. And like I said, moving forward, I ended up going to, like I said, work out for Bears, ended up having that conversation with them. And then, like I said, it was just business from that point on. But like I said, man, they great guys that what 2 years later or 3 years later, ended up him getting fired. Interim head coach Dabo Sweeney comes in, and the rest is history. So it just goes to show you, man, it's somebody that knows kind of what they're doing. You know what I mean? That first couple teams that Dabo had, he had to find the right system. You know what I mean, for his guys, and he got a good quarterback, got some good wide receivers, and some great running backs, great defensive talent, and he was able to make it work. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the biggest hurdle was for Dabo, I guess coming out, but you got to thank Tommy Bowden for hiring him, and you got to thank Tommy Bowden for setting him on that course, man. Because, like I said again, two national championships later, and all the CFP and ACC championships, man. It wouldn't have been without him. You know what I mean? He gave that guy a chance, and the rest is history. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, well, you read my mind real quick because I was about to say, speaking of Dabo, let's fast forward and go. I'm gonna ask you a question. I think I might know the answer, but what natty team was better, 16 or 18? The Deshaun Watson team or Trevor Lawrence team? Which team was a better team, top to bottom?
Oh, uh, I'm gonna have to say the 2019 team, and for the only fact that I'm saying that is they beat Alabama by what, 28, almost 30
Or
points.
16? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, to have that type of game and match up against pretty daggone good Bama team. And like I said again, everybody tries to compare the LSU 15-0 with the Clemson 15-0 team, and I said, man, I don't know. I don't know if it would have been a good game because Jamar Chase, they play well,
We couldn't
but
stop them
I
boys.
think, yeah, I think it would have been a different. It definitely would have been different with Deshaun Watson as well. But I mean, 2019 offense was probably better, but 2016 defense was good as well. That's probably the best defense Clemson's ever had.
2016?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, no, 2014 we had a number one defense. Of course we didn't, progress as far as
Right,
that.
right, right.
2018, we had the best D line in college football history. Some would say, the Sports Illustrated cover.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, the
yeah,
Power Rangers, Dexter Lawrence, Christian, Cleveland, Austin Bryant. You know what I mean? So that's a
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a fearsome foursome
All
on
went
the
to
D
the league.
line.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I
From
guess
top to bottom, though, I think 2016 was better statistically. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of the transition because so we had a few rough years after the championships, right? And I think I heard I
That's
heard
an
a quote.
understatement, B.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah. Few rough.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, life a little different. But I remember I listened to a quote that you had because you got what Tyler from Spartanburg and all the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
every,
yeah.
every, everybody's got comments. We've had comments, right? But I think your quote, and I know I'm gonna misquote you here. If you could handle the Tommy Bowden days, then you can handle these days, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a second. I think the fan base is spoiled. You start looking at even the college kids is like, you don't remember the days that you had to show up to the game an hour early just to get on the hill. You don't remember, having to sit through I don't know, I forget, Florida State game, we get blown out by 28 points, 30 points, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to sit through that anymore. So to me, the facilities are better. The town is better for it. I mean, two national championships, you can see the growth. I mean, you got people that come from California, Philadelphia, Arizona, Texas to come here because of the football. Like I said, absolutely. If you could sit through a 6-6 Tommy Bowden team, you could sit through a 3-loss or 4-loss, Dabo team for sure. And it's not like they're not, you know, playing great talent. I mean, they're, I mean, half the guys that we play quarterbacks like last year, half the quarterbacks that we played are either in the league now playing, or they got huge NIL deals and have left their team, or playing for somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I said, I think they're spoiled. Being realistic, everybody recruits well these days. Everybody has money. It's not like it used to be where basketball, for instance, if you were at North Carolina, you could pay a kid 20, 30 grand underneath the table, move his family, all that type of stuff. Now it's NIL, so it's everywhere. Now I have some questions about Dabo's model of how we're recruiting now, but for the most part, he's doing it the right way. He's winning, and yeah, we lost a couple games last year, but we obviously had some needs. For instance, wide receiver, we had some needs. We had, obviously defense has been good the last few years. And like I said, man, after Brent Venables left, the word on the street was just like, look, just don't wreck the Lambo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got some great players there. You got some great recruits. Just don't wreck it. So I think defensively with Wes, we have, maybe slid a little bit, but, you don't see that fire and intensity out of him like you did Brent, but
he don't have a get back coach, man. He need to get back.
He don't.
You know what I mean?
He don't get back coach. Yeah, but I mean, he's done well for himself. Again, first time coordinator, so he had to earn his stripes. He got some lumps, and so I hope that he's learned from that. But like I said, man, you had Dabo came in as giving these guys chances. You know what I mean, and they've proven themselves for the most part. The people that had 2, 3, 4, 5 chances, didn't have no more money in the bank, they gone. So, prime example. And I love Thomas Austin, man. I think he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. But you got to recruit, man. Name of the game is recruiting. And you could be really good at X's and O's, but be really bad at recruiting, and it's going to show. And it definitely showed the last 2 seasons with him, or 3 seasons with him as the OL coach. So, it's just stuff like that, man. And like I said, you're talking about Tyler from Spartanburg. I think Tyler from Spartanburg may have put a little fire up under some people, but that's what they needed. And, a lot of people was calling for a lot of people's jobs, but it seems that the issues that we were having have, rectified themselves. And, for me, I just think if they can continue to bring in some key guys, they're going to be okay. And like I said, again, you see Florida State now, who lost, was it almost 30 guys last year to the portal NFL. It was like 15 starters, 7 on offense, 7 on defense. And they went into the portal and paid these guys to try to replace them. But like Dabo said, man, you can't buy chemistry.
Yep.
You can't buy loyalty, that type stuff. And I might say, man, if he can continue to recruit at a high level and get the right guys in, he's going to continue to have success without using the portal. But, I would like to use the example of Keon Coleman.
Oh, you read my mind right there.
Keon Coleman could have absolutely helped Clemson for the 1 season that he was at Florida State.
Yeah, because he was a grown man out there.
He was a grown man. Now, I have no issues with the wide receiver coach at Clemson. Tyler and I played together. I have no issues with, Bo Collins and a couple of those guys that transferred out. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the production that we had, we're talking about 2019, 2016 Clemson, wide receiver no fly zone. Mike Reed has done his job. He has recruited the best of his ability and has coached the guys up.
Yeah.
Somehow, wide receiver, once Jeff Scott left, it was like, what are we where are we getting these kids from, and what are
Dog.
we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing? So again, I think it has, for the most part, rectified itself. But only time will tell. I don't think we need to keep wearing those wide receiver U t-shirts, but
Nah. I mean,
but
yeah, and like you said though, you can't buy chemistry, but I will say, and you read my mind with Keon Coleman, I would say last year he beat us in the overtime game,
yeah,
But
yeah,
you can, I mean, Florida State they rented chemistry, but at least expired this year.
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. At least it's
They
Friday.
rented it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it expired. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
I think to Dabo's point too, you start talking about guys that have really hurt Clemson, that went into the portal, went to another school, and then played against Clemson. We've only had probably two or three guys that absolutely, broke us off. Now, the kid that transferred, I think from Louisville, that play at Georgia. Yeah, the slot wide receiver, I think is 8. He had a couple of touchdowns in that game when they played us. I can't think of any other quarterbacks or anybody else that's really transferred in and done anything. But in our current recruiting model, right? So every year you have people that leave, and you have to, obviously, I mean, y'all know I'm just just talking, but obviously you have people that leave, and in your recruiting model, you basically have to hit 100 out of 100% to continue to do what you're doing.
mhm.
And so when you have guys leave the program that you hand picked, you hand recruited, you know what I mean, and said, hey, we want you here at Clemson because we think you are Clemson material, and we are picking up everything that you're putting down. You had what, 3 defensive ends leave, and now you have a gap there, which again we recruited and brought in some guys, but it takes time to develop. If you've been in a program 2.5, 3 seasons, like that's almost like firing somebody that's been at a company 10, 15 years and then get somebody off the street. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's that big of a disparity, but I'm just saying it seems like in our current recruiting model, we can't lose people at key positions and expect to next man up type mentality. Because again, you play some guys, but your second and third string guys aren't where they need to be. We saw that, Virginia, you know what I mean? So, you got 21 points scored on you when the starters went out. You know what I mean?
That was not ideal, and we talked about that in depth. Not only that, with the North Carolina State game, the App State, all these points and yards that's given up. I understand the Cats got to get
Yeah, yeah. You gotta
learn,
get some
get your
playing
tape.
time.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Get your learning time and all that. Get your learning experience. So
It's like
some things need to be cleaned up.
yeah.